Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hello.
Namaste. Did you
Thank
have
you.
your caffeine today?
I'm
Enough dose?
dozing.
Cool. Hmm. I've been playing since morning, dude.
What have you been
Like,
playing?
I've been playing Valorant entire day.
I should have guessed.
See, so I have just two games on my laptop. One is Valorant, and the other one is recently I downloaded War Thunder just for the
Hmm.
kick of it.
Are you being disloyal to
Uh,
Valorant?
no, no, I'm very loyal to Valorant. Valorant is probably the only game that I've stuck with for so long. It's kind of surprising.
I
Like
love it.
usually when I play some game, uh, like I remember playing IGI Part One, Two, Three, torrent format when I was in PU. Yeah, but apart from that, nothing else. So
Hmm.
Valorant, because of you, I started playing. You're like, Atish, do you like strategy games? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
I
okay
can't believe I
playing
sold you on
FPS?
Valorant being a strategy game. It is, but
Yeah.
I mean, I had to bring you in somehow. They paid me.
Why weren't you online? Why weren't you online too? Do you
So,
want to tell our audience
uh,
why you are not playing Valorant?
I'll just I'll just give you a quick backstory, okay? Like quick,
Okay.
what happened in the last 4 years. So I got into hardcore. I mean, I used to play like NFS, dude, which is like some racing games, whatever my
Huh.
second gen laptop Core i3 could handle. But
Hmm.
I got into like serious PC gaming 4 years ago when I built my first PC, gaming PC,
Hmm.
decent processor and like a decent graphics card, and I built it to play one game, which was PUBG, right? Which was like the hottest shit at that time. And like I grinded. I mean, I didn't grind. I enjoyed playing the game, especially at night when it scared the fuck out of you. Like you won't realize it now, but when you play that game in the night, you're solo wandering in the middle of nowhere. You're scared for your life, even in real time. So I played PUBG, and I tried games like Apex, and I mean, I just thought that they were kind of wannabe. I don't know. I might be wrong, but yeah, all the haters are gonna kill me right now. But I played PUBG for 2 3 years, and then I moved on to some other games. But then there was this one game that caught my eye, watching a stream, and it was Valorant's beta program being streamed, right? And this was 2 months before it actually came out in India, because officially initially it only came out in the America first, and then all over the world, America and Europe, I think. So
Yeah.
and I watched people like Shroud play it, and I'm like, what is this? so so you need insane shooting skills, and that's not the only thing you're doing in the game. That's not even like half the game. The other half is just, it depends on what you want the game to be. You can win the entire game on
Yeah.
ability, or you can win the entire game on agent ability, or you can win the entire game on teamwork and their teamwork ability. So it caught my attention, and then the beta servers came out. I think this was August 2020. It's mind blowing that the game is only a year old at this point, just over a year old.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a century old, which is not a bad thing. It's just that we're just accustomed to it and the whole phenomenon. So and I
Yeah.
played the game, and I was like, delete everything else. So I got rid of all the other games, and I put Valorant on my SSD because I wanted to load as fast as possible. And I was like, my 3 year old graphics card at this point is running this game at 200 plus FPS on the highest settings. So I was like mind blown. I'm like, yes, now I'm getting like kind of the same FPS as those uh, kings of the Twitch, which are like
Huh.
Shroud and Ninja and all. They get like
Yeah.
2 3 million FPS. I don't know, but I'm getting 200 FPS, which is like mind-boggling for my 60 FPS monitor. And I
Mm-hmm.
played the game, and immediately I was hooked on it. And within a month, I realized that this is gonna cause a big decline in my whole career if I don't get rid of this. But then I couldn't get rid of it because it, I, it, it's the only game that gives you a hit every minute. You don't wait 20 hours in the grass like PUBG. You don't die as soon as you land in the lobby like Apex. You don't just randomly die without doing anything in the game like CS. You can do whatever the hell you want. You've got a minute and a half basically to in a round, and there's round after round after round, and the combination of skills and tactics and everything that it required, I was like, this needs all my attention all the time. I didn't even know I could use all of these keys on my keyboard all at once in 1 minute. And so it got my attention. And so why I told you the whole story is the millions of hours of playing PUBG and Valorant killed my graphics card eventually this month. So now I'm just left PC less. I mean, the PC is there. It's just dead, collecting dust. Oh
We'll
my
just insert
god.
a photo of what your current
Oh
setup is right
damn!
here.
You're gonna be so disappointed of the before and after pictures of my PC, dude. Ah. Anyway, so
Yeah,
that's why I don't have a PC, and thanks for rubbing it in my face because now I can't play something I enjoyed the most, dude. I truly just enjoyed playing Valorant, and I think I'm not the only one.
right.
So,
Hmm. So
uh,
why I was talking about this is, see, I'm not an avid gamer. Like I don't follow esports that much.
hmm,
I don't watch streams as religiously as you do. Either like even Shroud and Choco Taco,
yeah,
these guys are legends, dude. Like they have snap aims. Okay, so I was
yeah,
thinking to myself, I don't have that kind of an aim. I don't have enough money to buy that kind of setup. Those games are all paid off,
yeah.
right? So didn't make sense to me. I never watched any of those games. I tried playing Apex Legend because my laptop was new.
Hmm.
I have an Acer Nitro 5, right? And the
Sure.
first game that I downloaded was the first game I had was Apex Legend, and then we played PUBG,
A lot.
the light version. Yeah, a lot. I was playing from college. You were
Hmm.
playing from home. You were bunking college and playing it with me,
Yeah, of course.
and I was using college Wi-Fi for that. I used to curse a lot, dude. There was so many people using the same Wi-Fi, and I would run out of FPS. Like
Hmm.
in the game, I'm stuck. Okay. Now I got fed up of PUBG because it was annoying. Like you're not even on the ground and you're shot dead.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, even if you have a team of 4 or 5 people in your lobby, they cannot help you because they are landing somewhere else. They do not have weapons on the go, right? You have to find weapons.
Yeah.
And the map is too huge. You have to clear
Yeah.
everything. And the worst part is, even if you get like 20 kills
Hmm.
and you reach the last circle, the guy who had been camping with 0 kills, he gives you one tap and you're dead. And
Yeah.
that guy wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was annoyed at that fact. Like you do so much of hard work and you spend 40 minutes on a game, and at the end you're like shot by just one person who had been laying on the grass. Okay,
Yep.
I got annoyed. I deleted those games. Apex also similar problems. And
Yeah.
then you told me, do you like strategy games? I said yes. You said, are you okay with FPS because now you're like slightly experienced in PUBG? I said, yeah, cool. You told download Valorant. It's light on your PC. Nothing
Yeah.
will happen to your PC. Just download.
Hmm.
Cool. I downloaded. I play Sage for the first time because you told me it was much
Most
easier.
people played Sage in the first time.
Yeah, yeah. I know some people who played Sova, dude, first agent, and they hated the game. Like, what is this? Okay.
Hmm.
We'll come to that later. But Sage was fun. Uh, you either make good walls where you would block your enemies, or you make a funny wall where your own teammates end up
Yeah.
stuck somewhere. Pretty funny. Now,
Which is on
the
purpose.
major, yeah, why I was sold on the game after playing just 2 matches was
Hmm.
you could still have fun even if you screw up. It was not
Yeah.
like PUBG where you screw up and you have to watch your team play the entire rest of the game
Yeah.
and just keep, you know, there was time restriction. Like this game is like 2 minutes. That's it each round.
Hmm.
You have to plant the bomb, get out of the site, come back, play your
Yeah.
yeah. So I think 25% of the game, whether you're going to win or lose, is decided when you're in the lobby and you're waiting for your teammates to pick up agents and like decide which
Yeah.
map you're playing. Like map is already decided. The server already tells you which map you're going to play, and then based on that, you need to communicate, if possible, with your teammate, like whoever you matched up with, what agents to play and like who's taking what. Right. That gives you so much of flexibility which is not there in Apex and PUBG. PUBG, we can just forget it. But
Yeah.
Apex, like not many people actually communicated. They didn't have. I wouldn't say they don't have right now. They didn't have agents back. Like hardly people knew what those agents did.
So
Right? Some of them were medics and stuff, but they didn't have
yeah,
proper abilities to do anything about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's a different kind of game, so we can't relate them. But would I be right to conclude that the popularity of adoption of this game
Mm.
is most importantly because no matter what category or level of a player you are, you can make a big difference to every game and you can affect all the players in it even
Yeah,
without being
yeah,
a pro player. Everything you
yeah,
and the fact that more than a gamer being good at a particular skill like aiming, I think what most players want is ch- their opinion, which they provide with the number of choices they have in this game, the agent they take and what they choose to do in every round. And I think most people feel like what they do for those 45 minutes of a game matters even if they're bad.
yeah, yeah.
So I think
So
it makes them feel more included, which is not like Counter Strike or PUBG and all, where your skills determined everything or your pure luck determined everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I've seen this so many times, like including my own gameplays, right? When I usually pick up sentinels who are basically they just stay back and make sure that nobody enters the site,
yeah,
right? That's very different from duelists who actually enter, peek, get kills, and like come back. And yeah, so you're mostly watching everybody's back, and most of the
yeah.
times you're like bottom fragging. But in spite of getting the least number of kills, you're satisfied because your duelist got more number of kills because you didn't let enemies enter the site in the first place.
And you took care of
Right?
everyone,
Yeah, we took care of
including
everyone. There are healers, there are
yeah,
info gathering agents, and there's so much of combinations within those agents itself. Like
true,
some agents are called sentinels. They're supposed to watch flank, but instead they have healing
yeah.
powers and like holding down
And
places.
I another thing I wanted to add is that no matter how pro a player is, right?
Hmm.
Because I've seen this game and at all levels. Because I started from the base levels and got to like a fairly mid level, and I'm seeing all these streams of the whole championships going on. I've seen that no matter how pro a player you are, there's always a big ceiling for room and a room for growth in the way you use your abilities. There's you never are perfect at using your abilities because there are like a trillion possibilities of using an ability at any point of time. You can smoke anywhere in the map. You can slow anyone anywhere in the map. You can dart anywhere in the map. So you've got a billion choices, and you make one out of those billion choices with every ability you use in every round. And there are like 25 rounds if both the teams are equally matched.
Right. So that also we would have to add the fact that every round you play, you end up learning more about your enemies. So if you
True.
get, so let's say you walk into a cipher trap,
Yeah.
right? Now you know where that trap is, and you know what your teammates would expect if you get caught in that thing. Some people use one-way smokes. Some people they just drone and like this breach who aftershocks and like kills him off from
Yeah.
like miles away, right? So people learn from their mistakes, and that's why I feel Valorant is slightly better than other games, because in other games if you make a mistake, there's no room for you to come back and improve on it.
True.
I hope I got the point
Mm,
properly.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
do
yeah.
you understand? Like,
Yeah, yeah. You
yeah,
can.
so
What you wanted to say is you can improvise in real time instead of
real
going
time,
back to the
and you
shooting
can,
range and learning how to shoot. You can
yeah,
improvise every round.
every round, and at the same time both of the teams are getting smarter by each round. They know what these guys are going to do. They're going to anticipate. They're going to punish you if you're going to repeat the same mistake. You're not
Yeah,
holding a flank,
yeah,
and that's pretty interesting. Like, and people don't rage that easily on Valorant. Like I've seen
yeah.
other
True.
games and how much they range. I mean,
Exactly.
rage. But sometimes in Valorant, if you die and it's because of something stupid that you did, and your enemy killed you anyways,
Hmm.
you still end up laughing because it was so stupid of you. You admit it that
Yeah.
this
Also
was
because
very
you've got
funny.
more chances because you've got more rounds to correct your mistake, right? The game
Right.
is never over until the enemies won the final round. The game is never
Hmm.
over, and we've seen this in so many
Yeah.
places. So,
Yeah.
so
We've even seen pro players where it's like, 3v7 rounds,
yeah,
right? And still they make a comeback all the way till, like, they make back to back wins all the way till 12, 13th round, and
yeah,
then still win. So anything can happen on this game if you start owning your mistakes
yeah,
and like correcting yourself on the
yeah,
fly.
yeah. True,
So
and you have to.
that's one more thing.
It forces you to.
You have to, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
All five players have to learn.
yeah, yeah.
That's even more important.
Yeah. So I had this a very different kind of experience, right? Which was
Mm,
when I was playing this game on my PC or on my friend's PC, and
mm.
there were like people our age who came and saw the game, and they're like, "What is this cartoon? Why are you playing this? How can this be that good, right?" Because I get it from their point of view. They expect futuristic graphics and crazy things to be happening on the screen
They compare it with Call of Duty, no?
because
Yeah.
graphics cards have got that good. But what they don't understand is games like these need to be very very easy to run, and
Mm.
it's the same reason why a 12-year-old kid on a tiny laptop can destroy anyone with a gaming PC, because
Yeah.
when you make a game easy to run, it levels the playing ground a bit. You don't need the highest end computer to have the most efficiency in the game. You can play on a low end
Mm.
PC, and that's what people choose to ignore, because they think that a game's only good when it looks really really good. And personally, if you ask me, for the role that Valorant has been playing in our community, I think it looks really damn good for how little resources it needs.
Yeah.
So
So like even a 30, 40 grand laptop is able to run this thing. Laptops which are
really
older
well.
than, maybe 3.5 hours, it still works on that,
Hmm.
right? So the only thing you need is, good team comps. Like
Yeah.
if you're matched up with really good people who can communicate and let you know where you're doing your mistakes,
Yep.
you can have a fun time. Or if you choose to do mistakes on purpose and if you want to have fun, that is also possible.
You can have fun either way.
If you just want to screw around in this game, that's also fine. Like people
Just
are
make
up
sure
for
to
it.
mute your team,
Yeah,
because they
mute
will
your team.
destroy you.
Oh, sometimes look, I have had situations where total strangers, I just told them, guys, I'm not playing. I'm just screwing around. They're like, cool. We are gonna join.
Yeah.
They're killing each other with their abilities. Okay, we don't have friendly fire in this. The only way you can kill each other is because of your abilities.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like too funny how people die. And then your enemies are like too confused. What is
Yeah.
going on? Why are they killing each other
I
instead
think
of
it's a very
us?
wholesome game. What do you say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And enemies tend to have respect to each other. Like when
Yeah.
you say knife round, like
Yeah.
at least 70% of the time, the enemy will accept it and they're
Yeah.
gonna come out for the
Because
spirit of gaming.
because even if you screw up this particular round, you've got a lot of rounds to correct
Yeah.
your position in the game. Because the thing is, people find this obligation that they've got nothing to lose if they screw up this particular
Hmm.
round. They can go get milk
Yeah.
and come back and die, and they can still figure out their way to win the game. They can play a knife round and lose the whole round and still
Hmm.
win. This So many things can happen in this game, dude. And
Right.
yeah, I think this game is gonna do really well. Did you see the figures? It's doing a lot better than Counter Strike ever did in like most
Hmm.
number of concurrent players. And Counter Strike is still a paid game. You still gotta pay for that
Oh
game,
yeah.
dude.
About that, uh, when I started playing at Sage, right,
Hmm.
and like 2 matches down, so multiple things were going on in my brain. I was like, why is this game so fun?
Yeah.
That was the topmost thing. And at the same time, I was like, why is this even free?
Yeah.
Okay, because so much of work these guys have put in. They've designed the map so good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some of the maps feel little terrible because you don't have good aim. Okay, don't complain. Um, so yeah, there's so much of work these guys have put. There's story based on each character and why a map is a certain way. So to have this entire game free of cost, like yeah, there are some in-app purchases, but like which game does not, right? But
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
insane that you don't have to subscribe to a game and play, or maybe buy the entire game and then play. So there's no regret. It's just free for all. Just play, dude. Like if there's
Delete
someone
if you
who,
delete if you don't like it, because you won't have any guilt of, oh, I paid this much for the game.
yeah, unless you have skins on the thing on your account.
But no,
Uh,
that's the guilt that's common with all the games you're playing because you've bought skins in all the games. Okay, but
hmm,
for trying a game out and playing it for like a month and still not liking it and quitting it, it's very easy to do with this game.
hmm,
Same thing with PUBG. That's why PUBG rose to the fame it was at.
right. Hmm.
But
And
but
then
I think this game
the
will have a lot less uninstalls than PUBG did.
yeah, probably the biggest reason why people would uninstall is like when they end up doing the same mistakes again and again, or maybe when you're flashed a million times in the same round and you no longer want to play,
You still don't uninstall.
your teammates going AFK.
I've 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 seen days where I've had the worst games, like 5, 6 games lost at a streak, and the next
Hmm.
day I still go back for more, dude. And it's I know
But
this might be a personal thing, but it's not just me. There's so many memes about how sometimes you just feel like destroying your whole PC because of Valo, and next day you go back for it. Because dude,
sometimes you go to play Valo because you have depression, and then you
yeah,
come out more
with more
depressed.
depression. But more often than not, it makes you happy.
Yeah.
because because real life might not give you choices, but Valo will. At every point, every minute, you'll have choices to make.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. And oh yeah, one final thing that I wanted to add is what are your thoughts on the future of this game? I know it's like too early. It's like
Yeah.
been only 1 year,
No,
but
no,
they have so
it's
much
not
of
early.
so many maps, and they
Yeah.
have so many agents at this moment. It feels like a huge game, and especially in India, people have accepted it better, if not like yeah, if not the most accepted game is probably Valorant because I keep tabs on YouTube
Yeah.
and other social media platforms because my job demands it. Uh, so yeah, I keep track of these guys. They're going mad. Most rural parts of India also people are playing, and the language like American guys, Europeans, they are learning Hindi just because they're playing on Mumbai server and they want to screw around with each other. They want to scold each other. The Indian players are like, yeah. So, what do you think is the future for Valorant? When do
I
you think
think
Valorant will be saturated? Worst case
I
scenario.
I don't see any saturation for this game in the near future. You know why? I'll be very honest with you. Okay, CS has done so well for the last 20 years because it forced people to get better at their skill and skill alone, right? And we're
Mm.
talking about just one skill, which is aim. Nothing
Game.
else.
Mm.
CS is about nothing else. You need a decent brain for it, but if your aim is good, you can get through with that game, right? You can become professional if you want to with that game. But something like Valo, where if you want to get good, you need to get smarter, and you need to get smarter faster than you need to get a better aim. You can do with a terrible aim if you're smart enough to play this game.
Right.
And
Mm.
I also don't see a saturation point because they've designed this game in such a way that by at any point adding a new agent or a new map can make this game feel like a brand new game all over again. Any new agent can make this game feel brand new because
Yeah. Because now
because
you have one more agent to worry about
and yeah,
as a player.
exactly. That's more important than playing the agent himself. Playing the agent,
Mm.
yes, I know there's like a starlight period, and like after 2 days, you're like, fine, I'm accustomed to it. But playing
Mm.
against an agent where the other player is learning the ceiling of that agent's abilities, and you got to be ready for the most drastic things he's going to do in the map is
Mm.
very interesting. And the fact that they'll be adding a new map, and you know how big adding a new map is, right? Because learning the
Yeah.
whole map takes like a month or two. And
Mm.
then after a year, you still keep learning about some tips and tricks about and new features about the map. right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that's what I think. They've designed this game in such a way that at any point of time they see a decline in the number of people playing it. Add a new map, add a new agent, and you're good to go again. And I've seen other games try to do this, like PUBG, by adding new kinds of guns or new kind of weapons, but those don't play as big as a role as adding a new agent or adding a new map. What do you think? What do you think is
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
substantial, adding a new gun or adding a new agent? Because the thing is,
Okay. So
you. I just want to complete by saying that agents in a game like Counter Strike does not make as big a difference as someone in Valorant, because 50% of the game is determined by what the agent can do himself without even shooting.
uh,
So yeah, that's what I think. I don't think there's any saturation coming at least for the next decade.
yeah. Okay. So I started playing Valorant, and then midway, right, when Astra was released. When was Astra released? Was it February? Something around that time. PUBG was being banned across India because,
Yeah,
like, our neighbor wasn't playing nice with us.
yeah,
So when the game came back on phones, right, especially on phones, people were like wowed. Some people like they were like, dude, PUBG has become so good. And I was like, is it because at that point, at the same time, I was also trying to grind on competitive on Valorant, and it's
yeah.
very frustrating. It's
Hmm.
people listening to this podcast, they know how difficult it is to grind on competitive.
Hmm.
I've left playing competitive after a while,
Okay.
and at that time, I was frustrated playing competitive here, and I was thinking of uninstalling Valorant because I thought maybe the phone version of PUBG is slightly better and can give me a release, right? I look at that game on my
I see
friend's
where this
phone,
is going.
and I couldn't adjust to that feeling of playing on a phone.
Hmm.
Plus, uh, they started copying a lot of things that's related to Valorant. Like
Hmm.
suddenly now your PUBG character can make a wall, metal wall, and
What?
that you can use. Yeah, 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 yes,
Okay.
yeah, okay. And then they can keep revive. So
Fortnite,
you knew we could revive. We could revive our teammate if he's like low on health,
but not a
based
dead
on how much
teammate.
medikit you have. Huh. So like partially dead guy,
Yeah.
right? You're still reviving, knocked out guy. You're reviving, and like before we never used to have cover, just smokes were there,
Hmm.
right? Now you can make a wall. There's like something very compact, and you release it from your bag. It becomes a wall sort of a thing. That thing also has a health sort of
Hmm.
thing, like how Sage has, I
Hmm.
think 500 or 600 HP something,
Okay.
right? That was there. Plus, they changed how the drops are done. They changed the kind of vehicles that you can use. Suddenly, you have panzers roaming around. A lot of weird shit, and I couldn't go back to that. It
That
was
doesn't seem
cringe.
fun. Yeah,
It was
that
really
seems cringe.
cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus phone. Like I was at that time, I was so used to using all my fingers, and I couldn't go back to this. Just
I know.
four fingers.
I know.
And yeah, I think I'll not go back to phone gaming for a really long time,
I'll
unless
I'll never go to phone gaming.
yeah. So if I'm
Now do
looking,
you understand all the time in college when you guys played PUBG Mobile and I played PUBG PC and I told you, dude, I can't play mobile, man. There was a reason you
I totally get it.
when you're used to getting so much visual feedback from a bigger screen and having so
Hmm.
much more control than just two thumbs,
Yeah,
you can't go back to that simplicity anymore. You need the
yeah.
complex control.
So yeah, and then once I got to know, like, okay, mobile is not gonna happen anytime soon because that technology is saturated.
Hmm.
Like nothing new is happening in the mobile
Yeah.
gaming space. So I was like, okay, now I'm on PC. From here is what next, right? Next is just VR, AR, and
Yeah.
mixed reality, which is going to come up now that Meta has come through, which is a
Hmm.
separate conversation, which probably we'll cover in the next video. But
Sure.
that's where the gaming industry will be heading to. But I think right now, PC gaming is reaching its peak. Like so much
Hmm.
of games.
True.
Plus, there are games where you can play directly on your PC, or you can attach a VR setup and like play.
Yeah,
And then there are people who play Forza with their entire car that setup,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Augmented setup, and very fascinating. I think in another decade, no, if companies can come up with cheaper ways of making these mixed reality devices, how to make these devices cheap. Even VR goggles, they're pretty
That's the
expensive.
future.
By
They
yeah, but
they
I'm
are
talking about in.
expensive. I
Huh,
just wanted to make a conversation here. Is that when when a technology gets widely adopted, no, everything relating to the technology also has to get affordable because they need to get adopted by the user as well. The
yeah,
reason VR goggles are expensive right now is because there isn't a lot of VR right now. So when developers start making a lot more VR games, because right now there are only like a few developers making one VR game every 2 years, right? But when these
yeah,
mainstream studios like Riot start making VR games, right?
mm,
That's when the VR technology will advance to a point where it will become very cheap to manufacture. Right now,
mm.
they're not even trying because there's not much happening.
So that was something that was going on in my mind. I was like, so I'm going to stick to my laptop games. I think Valorant will be a game that's a part of my life for a really long time,
Yeah.
unless VR becomes affordable and like some really insane game comes out on VR and I want to try it out. I'm having big hopes that Valorant is already working on something VR, some game that's going to come out on VR. Could be as exciting as
I
Valorant, but
I had a dream one day where I was on my mouse and keyboard, sitting on the
Mhm.
desk, but I was not
Okay.
looking at a screen. I was wearing a VR goggle, so I could look around like that.
Ooh.
But I was still playing on my mouse and keyboard, and I think that can be a deadly combination for a game like Valor.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. But I think if you're using guns and joysticks inside the game, I think it makes more sense to have actual joysticks on your hand.
For
I
to
don't know
for,
what those
yeah,
things are
to
called.
the thing is, yeah, but to experience a game, I get it that if you get more in the position of holding something, then I
Yeah.
think, yeah, you get a better experience of the game. But when you want to play competitive, I think
Hmm.
I think what I said seems to be a better solution than holding a gun and like quickly turning instead of just flicking your mouse. I think
Like, come
flicking your
on.
mouse
Okay.
is much faster than wanting a fat person to be athletic.
Okay.
Sorry, fat
Okay.
people. Yeah, I just give an example. So
Hmm.
yeah, but dude, how insane will it be if you're wearing VR goggles and still playing on a keyboard and mouse? That would be like a next
I
level
can
of value.
I can only imagine and I can only hope that that technology comes
Yeah,
very
dude.
soon.
And
So until that happens,
it should be fairly easy to develop, man.
is it so? Because I tried, so I tried, developing games on, or at least making the environment of a game in Unreal
Yeah.
Engine. It's pretty difficult. I gave up at a point. I was like, what is this? It's just too much to, So there's something called as gray boxing. Basically, you're just putting objects in the environment just to give that feel. So if I can build a gray box map of Valorant, any map you give me, I can just put up boxes and
Very
cylinders
easy to
and make
make.
it look like very easy to make, right?
Yeah.
But once that is done, and now you want to make that object actually look like real life objects, like how we have Valorant, we have that generators, the
Yeah.
teleporters. Once
Yeah.
you try to understand how that thing has to look,
Yeah.
it's too much work. Like
But
you
that
cannot do it alone.
I know, but we're talking about like multi-billion-dollar companies here making a
It's
game
still
for a
difficult.
living.
The,
They'll
you
probably
need
what
at
spend a
least three
year.
years of planning. No, 3 years.
The thing is,
Just planning on what the map has to look, why it
but
has
they
to look
already
a
know
particular
what the
way.
map looks like. I'm just saying that
Yeah, but
converting the current game into 3D.
hmm. Okay, so let's assume Valorant is coming on VR. Okay, now you're the developer. So when you're playing it on your laptop, the monitor is fixed.
Yeah.
It does not move,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You're making the visuals move because of your mouse.
Yeah.
Now, when you're on VR, you tend to not move the mouse and like turn your head, but that doesn't move your cursor. I mean, your crosshair doesn't move, no?
You'll you'll be turning your mouse to turn where
Hmm.
your gun is pointing, and you'll be turning your head to see around you.
Okay, like
But that'll kind
so
of
then I think AWS will not work. I don't know. It's yeah, it sounds
it'll work.
complicated.
You'll
So
have to
that
think about it. Yeah.
hmm. So yeah, a lot of things that we don't
Yeah, yeah. We don't.
know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
much about,
A
but
lot of people don't consider,
yeah.
or maybe I think it's just gonna destroy the game if we can turn our head with different movement to our hands, right? Because then people
Ah,
coming from behind us, we can just look at them without even turning. So, yeah, I think the easiest way to convert this into VR would be like just converting that monitor's feed into an actual VR feed where your head doesn't do anything, but you experience to be more immersed in the game because it's so close to you and you're playing with your mouse.
okay.
But I think even
Mm,
that'll be a crazy experience to play in Valorant, dude. Because you'll be in the
mm.
map instead of. I mean, even now it feels like we're in the map. Because when you're in the round, you feel like, yes, I'm still here. But when you're
So
truly
Valorant is
experiencing the
not
game,
even just first-person shooter. It's a horror game also.
I know
There's been so
it
many
can get
times where I
really
was like
scary.
jump scare and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. True.
So yeah. So having said all of these things, probably we can only wish all the best to Riots
Yeah.
because there's like at least a decade of peak moments that these guys will be having, and yeah, they're spoiling us a lot, dude. New agents, new maps, new
Yeah.
skins to like they're giving us something to look forward to,
True. And the
and
thing
that's
is,
never been
even
on
even if
other
you
games
can't
that
afford,
much.
yeah, even if you can't afford the skins, the game's still so fun, dude.
Yeah,
I've never bought a
even with
skin.
the basic settings, you can still end up enjoying as much as anyone else.
True. And you
Huh.
sitting in your house with a cheap PC can destroy the craziest, most expensive PCs out there.
Yes.
You just have to be more experienced in the game. I think experience
Hmm.
in this game counts a lot more than outright skill.
Hmm. Yeah, true, true.
Lots of
Cool
things in
then.
this game count a lot than outright
Yeah.
skill. Yeah.
So
So,
we'll wrap up this video here,
mm,
and probably in the next video we can talk about meta and metaverse because meta is completely different from metaverse. They're trying to make it look like metaverse is metas,
yeah,
but
yeah,
meta is just Facebook,
yeah,
and people are very skeptical whether they should join the metaverse because meta is also part of metaverse.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this should be interesting. I have a lot of questions about metaverse to you.
Hmm.
Let's
Okay,
see. Probably we can add Srinivas, who is one of our friends if our viewers don't know,
sure, we'll get him in.
because he has a few things to say about metaverse. Let's
Does he?
see. Yeah, yeah. He wants to say a few things.
Cool, cool, we'll get him in.
So yeah, he sort of has a different opinion on what can be and what cannot be a metaverse. So
Hmm.
let's see how that goes.
Cool, 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 cool,
Cool.
cool.
Until next video, please subscribe to the video if you like the content.
Yeah.
We'll try to improve. I know this is not the most polished podcast that you guys hear, but yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, if you like, if you enjoy listening to raw podcasts with no filters, please subscribe and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.
Peace.